Welcome to FRCMedia News for Thursday, November 21st, 2019. I'm Keith Tebow. On tonight's program, with the winter weather soon upon us, we will update you on what's being done for the homeless in our area. We have a portion of a Q&A discussion between Bristol Community College students and local veterans. And there's a new basketball court that was unveiled this week at Talbot Middle School. But first, let's check in with the news headlines of the week. We bring in the digital news editor at the Herald News, Phil Devitt. Phil, welcome back. How are you?
Thank you, Keith. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Let's start, first of all, with, a story we've been following for quite some time is the King Philip Mill project in the far south end of Fall River. Those King Philip Mill in the far south end has been a danger hazard. A local developer has purchased the land, has started some work on it in terms of demolition to build some market rate housing in that area and also some public space for local residents. But this week it was noted that the project was stopped because of a potential environmental issue. What do we know?
Yes, Keith, and this isn't the first time either tied to this site. So King Philip Mill is at 386 Kilburn Street near Cook Pond here in the city. It's been a demolition site on and off since it was purchased in 2018. Basically, as you said, clearing the way for homes near the pond. Work halted there recently, and not for the first time. We get the State Department of Environmental Protection to confirm with us this week that its Environmental Crimes Task Force is investigating the site. And Glenn Hathaway, who is the Inspectional Services Director here in the city, said that DEP requested the shutdown. But everyone's being pretty tight-lipped about what this investigation entails. We do know a couple of things. Number one, this task force that I mentioned involves prosecutors from the Attorney General's office, DEP scientific staff, uniformed officers from environmental agencies, that kind of thing. And we also know that work has halted there before, as I mentioned. In July of 2018, demolition stopped after asbestos was found on the site. And just recently, Representative Alan Sylvia, who represents that area of the city, said he was fielding complaints from residents who said, debris was flying onto their properties and damaging their properties due to high winds. So, there's a lot of mystery here, but we do have the past to help inform us in the interim, and we're following the story closely and hope to bring people the latest when we get it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those revitalization projects that would benefit the city as a whole and that part of the city in particular. So, again, with you, we'll follow it as well. The Fall River City Council this week had a special meeting to set the real estate tax rates for the upcoming fiscal year, the 2020 fiscal year, and this will set the stage, if you will, for those who own property within the city of Fall River. And what they've done this year, Phil, is they've actually shifted the tax burden. What cities and towns can do is they can actually shift the tax burden more on commercial customers and local businesses compared to residential homeowners. And what normally a city and town can do is they can shift that tax rate to a factor of up to 75% more geared toward businesses as compared to residential rates. Last year, the tax factor was set at 1.72, which means 75% would be shifted more, 72% rather, would be shifting more to commercial real estate than to residential real estate. This year, however, they have gave the commercial rate a little bigger break, setting the tax rate at 1.71. And Phil, in this situation, there always seems to be a battle, if you will, between local businesses, a lot of small businesses in Fall River, looking for a tax break, while local residents are also looking for a tax break. So there's always this give and take, and I guess it's tough for city councilors to make a decision like this.
I can imagine. This is one of the many circumstances where I wouldn't want to be in the city councilor's shoes, because tough decisions have to be made sometimes. Of course, you hear something like this and you think, residents will be happy, but of course, you have businesses also struggling to thrive in this city and make ends meet as well. it's not all roses for you just because you're a property owner with a business. That's some weeks are better than others, some months are better than others, and some people are struggling to pay the bills every month, just like the resident across the street. So obviously the money has to come from somewhere. Mm-hmm. You hope that you could find some sort of a balance, and everybody will hold hands and sing "Kumbaya." But until then, I think we're going to see this sort of back and forth, and unfortunately, one side a little more disappointed than the other.
Yeah, and taxes is always a difficult issue for people in a community. But one thing that was brought up by the assessors, Fall River assessors, during the city council meeting is that of the gateway cities in Massachusetts, specifically, Taunton and New Bedford and Lowell and some of the other gateway cities in Massachusetts, Fall River's tax rates, both on the residential side and the commercial side, are actually the lowest in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And of course, people paying those bills may see otherwise because they're the ones that have to pay the bills, but that is interesting of note. And the assessors are also willing to give a bigger break, if you will, to commercial interests to try to garner more businesses to come into the city. But that's something that we wanted to let you know about as we head to the new, even though the fiscal year has been going on for a while, residents and commercial ventures will be seeing the updated rates in their bills very soon. Something else that has actually been going on for a couple of weeks now, Phil, is the impeachment hearings of President Donald Trump in Washington, ongoing as we speak. And I'm kind of wondering, Phil, if you or anyone at the Herald News has been looking for a sense of how the people in Fall River have been looking at these impeachment hearings and reacting to it.
Well, Keith, we have yet to go out and take an official or unofficial poll, if you will, on the streets to get a sense of what people are thinking. But we do follow the impeachment proceedings closely. We are running wire and national copy in our paper and online every day, and that gives us the opportunity to get some feedback from people about what they think of this particular issue. I know that whenever we post an impeachment-related story on Facebook, you're getting a mix of comments. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you're seeing the stuff you typically see in your Facebook news feed if you're friends with a dynamic group of people. People on both sides, but also you have people who are just kind of tired at this point. Right. Not saying anything about their political leanings one way or the other, but they're just sort of tired of this. And obviously, impeachment proceedings just began, but I think what people are saying is they're tired of the negativity associated with this administration. We hear that from people who side with the president, and we hear it from people who side against the president. So, there's going to be no shortage of legs that these stories have. I think just today, we had Gordon Sondland, the ambassador, on the stand testifying yesterday. Fiona Hill testifying today, mm-hmm. Thursday, when we're recording this. And there will be a whole host of comments from people on our feed tonight about that. And even, here in the newsroom, we're talking about it too. And even though we love the news here, we're also a little tired. I think that's the word right now. Right,
it does get taxing at times. So, again, something that we'll continue to follow, and we'll be asking opinion as well of the people in Fall River. Finally this week, Phil, a good news story coming out of the construction of the new BMC Durfee High School, the official topping off ceremony, one of the final parts of the skeleton of the building going up this week. And that's always a big a breakthrough for any huge construction project where people come together. In this case, it was students and local administrators and teachers and local community members signing this the literal last beam that was being installed as part of the topping off ceremony. And that's an indication that this project is moving forward and going at a good clip.
It is. Like a lot of people, I drive up and down Ellsbury Street multiple times a day, and this structure, this steel structure that will become the school, is now safe to say the dominant site on Ellsbury Street. It's coming together and looking good. So the steel frame being nearly complete, before it gets too cold outside, they decided to have this, what they call a topping off ceremony this week. And what's cool about this ceremony is that 2 steel beams were lifted into place, but before they were signed by students and staff and other people associated with the project, and many of whom will not be beneficiaries of this tool. They'll be out in college in the real world by the time it's finished in 2021. But they're going to be exposed in a vocational classroom and not behind some wall somewhere, so people will be able to see those names and connect with them.
Yeah, very nice.
Really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And again, as you said, the school is expected to be completed for the fall of 2021. All right, what's coming up at the paper over the next few days?
So we're not even at Thanksgiving yet, but of course it's never too early to get into the Christmas spirit, and that's the case at the Fall River Historical Society.
Yeah.
You know how much of a big deal they make Christmas out to be every year. They work so hard with a team of volunteers to make this place beautiful for the holidays. We've got a full story on that and everything you can expect to see when you go for your next tour.
Sounds great. All right, Phil, we'll talk next week. Take care.
Thanks, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Optometrist, Primacare, located at 277 Pleasant Street, is looking to hire a full-time optometrist to assess vision defects and diseases, diagnose vision problems, perform eye exams, and prescribe corrective lenses. Job number 1285636. Diesel Technician, Republic Services, located at 1080 Airport Road, is looking for a full-time diesel technician to perform repairs and maintenance work on diesel and non-diesel equipment and trucks. Job number 128524433. Program Aid Alternate Van Driver, Family Service Association, located at 101 Rock Street, is looking for a part-time Program Aid Alternate Van Driver to maintain individual participant records, assist the program leader, and transport participants. Job number 1285878. Bank 5, located at 79 North Main Street, is looking to fulfill the following full and part-time positions. Mortgage Loan Analyst, job number 128588417. Electronic Item Processor, job number 128588401. St. Anne's Hospital, located at 795 Middle Street, is also looking to fulfill the following full and part-time positions. Behavioral Health Registered Nurse, job number 128541616. Medical Lab Technician, job number 128544634. For more information on these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. The weather is getting colder as the winter months approach, which means social service agencies are scrambling to help Fall River's homeless population find adequate shelter. But that's not all. The city's primary homeless facility, First Step In, also provides programs to help the homeless find permanent housing.
It happens the week before Thanksgiving every year across our country in recognition of National Homelessness and Hunger Awareness. It's a perfect time during Thanksgiving. And we join here at the First Step In and just recognize that people are out there, they need support, and basically we do it to bring awareness in the community. And also we have a drive to try to collect items that we might need to help them with. And this year we're not doing socks because we've had a wonderful donation from Liberty Utilities, but we do need hats, gloves especially, and underwear. So please join us. We'll have a speaker who will help us and enlighten people on homelessness. She was homeless here at the shelter and has been in her home for some time. We'll also hope to have Kate Marin here. She sings Amazing Grace like no one else. We'll have music, we'll have hot chocolate and some sweets. So please join us, and don't forget the gloves.
Veterans Day here in Fall River, but veterans were still being remembered at Bristol Community College. A recent veterans panel convened on the Fall River campus where students asked service-related questions to panel members. One question was how the veterans worked in a team while in service.
I worked with these people for 3 deployments to where we didn't have to talk to communicate and whatnot. Plus it's like a brotherhood, so like a guy can be a rank above you, and at this point it's just you call him by his first name. And we were always there for each other, whether we got into a fight like 20 minutes beforehand. As soon as we booted up and went on patrol, it was like nothing ever happened. So
what is the best way to interact with student veterans?
We're no different than anybody else, honestly. I wouldn't necessarily expect anybody to treat me any differently. The respect that you would give somebody else that you meet for the first time would be the respect that I would give anybody. So I wouldn't expect any different treatment in any way.
So why did you join the Marine Corps over other branches?
My father joined, and I pretty much knew that I was definitely going to go in the Marine Corps. Wouldn't have it any other way.
What was an event that you had to test your mental strength related to military?
The duration of the deployment. So I was in the 1st Infantry Division, attached to the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, and deployed from 2006 to 2008. And that's a long time for anybody. Even as I say that now, I think to myself, how did I do it that long? And that's a 16-month deployment.
Mass in Motion in Fall River is once again sponsoring a staircase gallery at Fall River Government Center. The current photograph display, entitled Through Our Eyes, was created by adult learners at SARE Jobs for Progress. The photographs can be viewed on every stairwell landing. Here's more.
This exhibit was created by some adult learners at SARE Jobs for Progress, and they captured scenes in their own communities that interested them, of the beauty of Fall River and their families, and they are exhibited along the stairways, the east and the west stairways at Government Center. And so Mass in Motion sponsors this program because we want to encourage people to take the stairs and step up for your own health and just give it a try. The artwork is meant to encourage and motivate you to get some exercise when you're here visiting Government Center. There are many lovely photos, many ethnic-oriented photos from their home cultures, and some of the photographers took pictures of foods that they create for their families. There are several pictures of children playing, running, walking on the boardwalk, and out in nature in areas in Fall River, some playground photos, and just people enjoying their community and the environment, and that's very nice.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Thank you for considering a homeless pet today. I hope you enjoy what you're about to see, and as always, please feel free to contact the shelter before coming down to make sure that the pets you're viewing are still available for adoption. We can be reached at 508-677-9154.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Millie. Millie's a sweet little girl. She's about 2 years old. She's a stray. She's a mix. We're not really sure what she is, besides adorable. So Millie loves to play with toys. Right, Millie? Millie would do really well in training. She already knows a couple things. You sit. Good girl. Oh. Good job. Millie loves other dogs. She'd get along quite well with a furry friend, but she does not like cats. Millie would do just fine in a home with kids. So if you'd like to meet Millie, come on down to Forever Paws Animal Shelter and say hello.
Today we have Petal. Petal here, she's a 2-year-old brown tabby, as you can see. She's very sweet, she likes her attention. She is good with other cats. In fact, she came with all of her siblings here to the shelter, who have all been staying here. They're also available. All very nice cats, very well adjusted, like people, as I said, like other cats. If you like the kind of cat that can be a little bit playful, but is mostly just, a bit of an attention hog, a little bit of a snuggle buddy, Petal would be a great fit for that. So if you'd like to meet Petal, come on down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts at Forever Paws Animal Shelter.
Finally this week, a ribbon-cutting ceremony was held recently at Talbot Middle School, unveiling a new basketball court. The court is unique in that the space has a creative flair thanks to the input of a local artist, who explains why she uses her talents to spruce up public areas.
Well, I played basketball for about 10 years as a kid, and basketball was like a big part of my family culture and my social culture. So I just make a lot of work about it now because I always felt kind of conflicted as a kid, like I'm an artist and an athlete. Do we have to choose? And as an adult, I do a lot of teaching artist work. I work a lot with youth through my own projects, and I find that they find themselves having to assert an identity as one or the other oftentimes. And so I like to try and show them that you can actually be both of those things and they inform one another. And one reason I really like public courts and athletics in public spaces is because anyone can play, anyone can be involved. It's not just about spectatorship. We talk a lot about participation versus spectatorship. So it's like, how can we play the sports and get involved and learn from each other, even if we're really, really good or we're just beginning. And it's not always about like sitting on your butt and watching TV and buying things.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can watch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 o'clock. And online, check us out at frcmedianews.org. We'll leave you now and we'll talk to you again next week. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.